Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are tearing into the very first chapter of Mayor Zohran Mamdani's time in New York City.
That's right.
We're looking at just the first 48 hours, January 1st, 2026. And we're really focusing on where his big promises on housing and transit, well, where they meet the cold, hard reality of actually governing. Now, for those of you who've been following this, you know the stakes are incredibly high. Mamdani came into office as, one of the most watched mayors in the country.
Oh, for sure.
And as the city's first Muslim mayor, the expectations were just monumental. It's not just about delivering, it's about signaling this huge transformative change, like, right away.
And that intense pressure is what makes these first 2 days, well, either a tactical masterclass or maybe a warning sign.
Right.
We're not just, listing events here. We're trying to analyze the political calculus, the speed, the prioritization. It's all about how quickly a new administration signals what it's really about.
Through action.
Exactly. Through executive action, the people he picks, the whole structure.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's unpack this.
Let's start with day one, January 1st. He definitely didn't ease into the job. Our notes show he signed 5 executive orders immediately.
Yeah.
That is an aggressive start. It really sets the pace from the word go.
The number itself is significant, but what's really telling is where he pointed that energy. 3 of those 5 orders went straight at what most analysts agree is the city's biggest, most existential problem.
The housing crisis.
The housing crisis, exactly.
So what were these orders actually targeting? Because, housing crisis is such a huge term. Was it just talk, or was there some real teeth to these actions on day one?
Oh, there was teeth, for sure. It was really directed at 2 key areas. First, strengthening protections for tenants.
Okay.
Like directing city agencies to speed up the expansion of the right to counsel program. That's, the one that gives legal aid to tenants who are facing eviction. So that's immediate help for people.
Real tangible help.
Yes. And second, the orders went after the bureaucracy, the red tape that gets in the way of building more housing.
Ah, the supply side.
Right. The sources we looked at pointed to specific actions meant to streamline the whole process for affordable housing, especially on city-owned land. Things like cutting the red tape around, financing programs like 421A.
So it's a 2-pronged attack then, protection and supply. But that wasn't the only big move on day one. There was also that spectacular political action that got almost as much press.
Exactly. We have to talk about the symbolism of that move. Mamdani revoked all executive orders from his predecessor, Eric Adams.
All of them?
All of the ones that Adams put in place after his federal indictment.
Wow. That feels incredibly aggressive. Adams was indicted on corruption charges late last year, and it was a really unstable time. But couldn't just, wiping out all those orders cause chaos or disrupt something important. Is that a fair critique?
It is a fair concern, yeah. But the analysis suggests the strategic gain was worth the administrative risk.
How so?
Well, Mamdani was drawing a clear line in the sand. When your predecessor is under a federal cloud, anything they do in their final months is seen as tainted, right?
Right, tainted.
So getting rid of them all at once does 2 things. First, it's a huge political statement, a clean break from all that controversy. But second, and is it the practical part, it's an administrative reset. It clears out the clutter so his team can start fresh with their own agenda.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like clearing a busted foundation before you start building your own house.
A perfect analogy.
And speaking of building, day one was also about setting up his team. Our notes describe a streamlined structure, just 5 deputy mayors.
And that choice is really significant. The last administration, and many before it, had a much bigger executive team, picking just 5. That signals he wants a leaner, more centralized leadership.
What are the implications of going leaner like that? Is it about efficiency, or is it maybe about consolidating power more directly around him?
I think it's often read as both. The sources suggest it's about reducing friction between agencies, less bureaucracy, faster decisions.
Right.
And it makes the lines of accountability point directly back to the mayor's office.
Right.
It really fits this whole narrative of speed and structural change.
But there was also a balancing act here, wasn't there?
Yes. And this is a crucial piece of the puzzle. Alongside all that change, he did something to signal stability. Despite his very progressive agenda, he chose to keep the mayor's office to combat anti-Semitism.
And why is that one detail so telling about his overall strategy?
If you connect the dots, it shows he gets the need for broad coalition building right from the start. You have to think about the scrutiny he's under. First Muslim mayor, a lot of geopolitical tension. Keeping an office like that is just non-negotiable. It tells everyone that while he's pushing for big structural changes, he's also focused on stability for all of the city's communities. That's how you build trust.
Okay, so day one was a whirlwind. Housing, political house cleaning, structuring his team. But wasn't it a bit of a risk to focus so much on housing when NYC Transit is always such a political pressure cooker? How fast did he pivot?
Instantly. He pivoted instantly. Day two, that Friday, was all about transit. It was him fulfilling that promise that the things that dominate New Yorkers' lives, where you sleep and how you get around, would be his absolute first priorities.
And the notes we polled confirmed a big announcement was planned for that afternoon on day two at Grand Army Plaza in Brooklyn.
Yes.
So this wasn't hidden away in some city hall conference room.
Not at all. And the location is everything here. Grand Army Plaza, it's near major subway lines, bus hubs. It's a symbolic spot. It puts the movement of everyday people literally front and center.
It's a stage.
It's a stage. It communicates that mobility is absolutely central to how his administration sees the city.
So let's get into his transit vision, because the campaign wasn't about, small fixes. He promised something transformative.
Correct. Mamdani wasn't just talking about fixing signals, which, is necessary, but it's incremental. He was talking about fundamentally changing the financial relationship New Yorkers have with their transit system.
How so?
His whole platform was built on making the system way more accessible and, crucially, way more affordable.
And what were the specific ideas he championed, the ones he's trying to push now from the mayor's office?
Well, the two big ones were free bus fare programs, which is a massive shift, and a big push for expanded service all over the city.
And the goal there is what?
The goal, and our sources are explicit on this, is to ease the cost of commuting, especially for low and middle-income residents. This is policy designed to tackle economic inequality through infrastructure. For a lot of working New Yorkers, saving, a few $100s a year on fares? That's a fundamental change to your household budget.
That's a huge equity move. And politically, it's brilliant for building goodwill. But this leads us right to the big challenge, doesn't it? The giant hurdle of implementation. This is where the campaign promise slams into reality, especially with transit.
This is the difference between having a mandate and dealing with municipal reality. Analysts were very quick to point this out. Mamdani, even as the mayor of New York City, does not have unilateral control over the transit system.
Can you just remind everyone why that is? Why can't the mayor just say buses are free now?
Because the MTA, the Metropolitan Transportation Authority, which runs everything, is primarily a state agency.
Right, controlled by Albany.
Exactly. It's Governor Hochul and the state legislature who really dictate the MTA's budget, who set the fares, who control the big plans. The city pays in, but the state holds the reins.
So when Mamdani stands at Grand Army Plaza talking about fare-free transit, he's not actually giving an order?
No.
He's issuing a challenge.
Precisely. His day two pivot is a declaration of intent. It's the opening salvo in what's going to be a very high-stakes negotiation with Albany. To make transit free citywide, the state would have to backfill a massive hole in the budget.
We're talking billions, right?
Billions. Billions of dollars a year just to keep the current service running, let alone to pay for the expanded service he wants. That is the huge intergovernmental lift he's facing.
And has this been tried before?
Well, other mayors have tried smaller steps, like discounted fares for certain groups, but a fully fare-free system, it's always been seen as financially impossible without huge new state taxes or, a massive federal grant.
So he's forcing the issue.
He's forcing the issue onto the state agenda on day two. He's making Albany publicly say yes or no to the whole idea of transit affordability.
That structural reality just completely changes how you look at his first couple of days. He's not just a mayor signing local orders. He's a political operator trying to pressure a higher level of government.
That's it. And observer notes all suggest his launch shows he is willing to be aggressive on these progressive solutions that affect daily life for millions. He is starting the fight on day two.
Which really raises the big question for us and for you, the listener. How quickly can he turn all this campaign rhetoric, all this political pressure, into actual tangible results? Housing takes years. Transit is stuck in the politics of Albany. The pace is set, but, the execution is the real test.
And that scrutiny is just going to be intense.
So what does it all mean? The first 48 hours, they gave us a really clear map of Mamdani's priorities and his style. Day one, he hits housing reform hard, tenant protections, affordable housing, and a clean political break from his predecessor.
Then day two, a sharp pivot.
A sharp pivot to transit, championing these huge, high-cost ideas like free fares.
And the key takeaway, I think, is that the political moves were just as important as the policy.
Like revoking the orders, keeping certain offices.
Exactly. And picking a place like Grand Army Plaza, it all establishes his administration as both uh, structurally clean and politically stable,
Yeah.
even as he's pushing for really radical change.
But New Yorkers are watching. They're watching to see how this new chapter is going to fix these problems that have been around forever. The ambition is there, but the complexity, financially and politically, is just staggering.
It is. And when you think about the need for state collaboration, I mean, that's the whole game. The question isn't just what he's announcing at Grand Army Plaza. The real question is who he needs to get on board to make it happen.
Governor Hochul, the state legislature.
He needs to get them on board to fund it, to execute it. He set the agenda. Now he needs the money.
The pace is set, the priorities are clear, and the political games are already underway. You now have the full context of Mayor Mamdani's ambitious, high-stakes opening days.